a big deal in the payment system.
A big deal in the payment system after a number of very big deals in the payment system. So Global Payments is merging with Total, and this, of course, comes after the Fiserv First Data deal, and then, of course, that purchase of WorldPay, just a couple months ago. And so this is really sort of the continuation of a trend in this hunt for scale in global payments. So, Global and Total are talking about the benefits for innovation, but when I hear scale, what that really tells me is pricing power and looking to hold on to market share at a time when you're seeing a lot of disruption in the payment space, from the likes of Venmo, Square, sort of some of these banks getting into consumer payment processing as well.
And when and if this deal gets done, what kind of market share will they have, the combined entity?
So it's interesting. So Total is what's called, they issue credit cards for banks, and so they help sort of manage that portfolio. And so when you're monitoring for fraud or you're looking to sort of manage your reward points, that's what they do. And Global Payments is more in sort of the merchant processing side. So it's sort of interesting to see this combination because it's rather untested as far as what the benefits are. So they're looking for $300 million in cost savings, which seems fairly reasonable, but they're also looking for $100 million in revenue benefits from this deal. They think they can earn that much more combined, and I'm not so sure about that. I think that'll be interesting to see is how this plays out. Does that actually give you the benefits when you have that vertical integration?
Well, that's kind of my question is where would they expand? Like, how do they get that money?
So they've talked about potentially going into international markets, that maybe they see some growth opportunities over there, especially on the merchant side. That's something that Global Payments, some analysts had thought they would want to get into anyway on the acquisition side. You could also look at, Total has this offering, it's called Vital. It's kind of similar to Sale and a point of service type of offering, and that could be something that they look to expand further. So it'll be interesting to see where they take this. But again, I just sort of wonder, when you see these big dollar amounts and this talk of scale, is that ultimately beneficial or is it more on the defensive side?
Do they compete with the likes of PayPal?
It's interesting to see what they're going to do there. I think this is more about sort of trying to intermediate that competition and keep them, sort of in their place and hold on to their market share. But I think it's also the banks, especially when you see more of the banks getting into the payments. I mean, you see what Goldman's trying to do with Marcus and different things like that. And so I think it's sort of coming from all different directions here.